Hey, welcome to Real Talk, where I give real answers to real questions from real worship leaders. If you are a real worship leader with a real question, you want a real answer, head right here and submit your question for a future episode. Got some good questions this week. Let's talk about it. I've been leading a small worship team at my church. I've been able to recruit some musicians in the congregation that are really good, but my pastor told his grandchildren that they could play as well without me knowing about it. They are both 17. They have talent, but they refuse to go to rehearsals and learn their parts. I've mentioned to the pastor several times that they really need to attend rehearsals, but he always argues with me about it. Because they don't come to rehearsals, they are always lost in what we're playing live. How should I handle this situation? Let me just say, I am frustrated for you. I am frustrated for you. Listen, on my team, you must come to worship rehearsals. There are no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care if you are the pastor's grandchildren. I don't care if you're the pastor's wife. I don't care if you're the pastor himself. If you want to lead worship, you must come to worship rehearsals. And I will not have you show up on Sunday morning and plug in and play and think you're ready to go. Now, we all know that that's the correct way to do things. The challenge in this situation is that it's your pastor telling you, my kids are going to be on the worship team. I'm just trying to think what I would do in that situation. I haven't had to deal with that situation before. And I don't know. You say your pastor always argues with you about it. This is like something, and it depends on the relationship that you have with your pastor. This is why it's so important to have a good relationship with your pastor as a worship team member, because there's a lot of situations like this that come up where you need the support of your pastor, you need the understanding of your pastor. I think I would tell them, listen, this is my vision for the team. I think that it's super important that people show up for rehearsal. I don't care, I wouldn't say it this way, but I don't care if it's your grandchildren. I don't care if it's your wife. I don't care if it's you. I don't care if it's me. If we aren't coming to worship rehearsal, you're not serving on Sunday, because a whole host of things happen and goes wrong when somebody doesn't show up to rehearsal during the week and then still wants to play on Sunday. First of all, most of all, they don't know the songs. They don't have any idea about what they're supposed to play. And if they do learn their individual part, that doesn't automatically mean that they know how their part fits in with the rest of the team. That's sort of the purpose of our worship rehearsal. Ideally, our team members would come to rehearsal with their part already learned. That's the goal. But the purpose of worship rehearsal is to put all of those parts together. And so there's something deeper that happens. I don't care how good your grandchild is at guitar. They can be a bedroom warrior all they want and shred in their bedroom with the amp turned up to 11 and sound amazing, but that's completely different than playing with a band. Playing with a band is a separate skill that you need. Anybody can play by themselves. That doesn't mean that they automatically know how to mesh what they're playing with the band or follow the arrangement that we have as a band. These are like, I would probably soften my language when I'm talking to my pastor about this if I had to, but that should go without saying. And I know you already know that, but if I had a pastor who told me that and was like, well, my grandkids are going to play, like, honestly, I probably wouldn't let them hear the end of it, because I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, this person, they aren't very good and they're messing up stuff, but I guess I'll just endure it because my pastor said so. All right, there's a difference between like submitting to your pastor's leadership in spiritual vision for the church and like you must submit to them in everything. Right? Like there's a very fine line there between a healthy respect for your pastor and respect for the role as a pastor, but then there is like an abuse of, I'm the pastor, so I'm just going to tell people to do whatever and they'll have to listen to me. Like, I guess the other thing that you can try is talking to the 17-year-old about it and tell them, listen, I need you to come to rehearsal. And maybe you just don't have that overarching, I wanted to call it a threat. It's not a threat, but like that overarching thing where it's like, if you don't come to rehearsal, you can't play on Sunday. Maybe your job is just to help them see that they need to be at rehearsal. Like, I would be If I can't remove these 17-year-old kids from my team, then I'm probably talking to them after the service when they keep making mistakes over and over again and being like, listen, like you messed up this, this, and this. And I'm not saying it to be mean, but I would use it as an opportunity to say, that's why we have rehearsal. If you don't want to sound like crap on Sunday mornings, come to rehearsal. Once again, I'm much more blunt in these videos than I would be to somebody face to face. But I'd be like, you heard how you got off in that second song, right? Like, those problems could be remedied if you would just come to rehearsal. That's literally all it takes. I need you to come to rehearsal so that those sorts of things don't happen. And as a 17-year-old kid, if I was a 17-year-old kid, I don't want to sound horrible either. That's embarrassing for me. These kids should be embarrassed if they're messing up all the time. They don't want to feel that way. Maybe they just don't understand that the solution is to come to rehearsal. So talk to them as well. And maybe that's the next step you need to take if your pastor isn't going to listen, is to just try to lead those kids into actually coming to rehearsal and help them see the benefits of it. I'm a member of a small group church. I sing with them, and there's a problem because our leader just sends the songs Wednesday or Friday. The classic, our worship team leader doesn't send out the songs until later in the week. I think I've touched on this like a million times on Real Talk Now, so I'll keep it brief, but basically go to your worship team leader, express your frustration, tell them I don't have time to prepare to lead worship when I only get them. I mean, honestly, if it was like on Wednesdays, I don't know if you have rehearsals or what, they should be getting it to you earlier in the week, but Wednesday's not the end of the world. And sometimes, you say you serve in a small group church. When you put it that way, I'm not really sure what that means, but it makes me think that maybe this is just like a volunteer person and maybe they don't get it out until then. Like, if they don't have time to get the song list out until Wednesday, is that ideal? Obviously not. They should be getting it out like the week before or very early in the week. But I give them a little more grace if it's not like their job. If you're in this small church where you call it a small group church, so maybe it's not even just a small church, maybe it's just a small group, like a house church or something. Wednesdays is probably fine in that environment. It's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. Now, Friday, okay, that's pushing it, right? And I would just say something like, hey, I need the songs earlier in the week if I'm going to prepare. I don't have, I can't get all these songs ready in 2 days or something. I don't know them as well as you. Maybe they just don't understand. Like, sometimes the people who pick out the songs, either they've already been thinking of them throughout the week and they just don't send them out until Friday, or they're picking songs that they know and they don't understand that when you have a team, you have to pick out songs earlier. And so they're just thinking, I already know these songs. The other people know these songs, but you don't know the songs. And so they don't understand that. So maybe they just don't understand that you need more time to learn the songs than they do. I just pull them aside one day and say, hey, I can't learn these songs that quickly. So is there any way you could get them out like on Tuesday or something? Because that would be really helpful for me. Then I would have more time to learn the songs. I think the other thing is that the more that you lead in this ministry, you'll have like a collection of songs that you already know. And I don't know if your leader's like picking out new songs every week. I hope that they aren't. But usually you have like a bank of songs that you choose from. And so if you're newer to this team, maybe you just need to give it a little time, and it feels like you have to learn all of these songs right now, but eventually you're just going to know the songs and you won't even have to really practice them before rehearsal because they're just songs that you already know how to sing. So consider that as well. Now, if you want help improving your worship leading, check out down in the description below 5 tips to instantly improve your worship leading. In that free audio training, I'll give you 5 super simple things that you can do before this Sunday or while you're leading on Sunday that will instantly improve your worship leading. They aren't hard to do. You just have to know them and make the conscious effort to do them. So check that out down in the description below. Other than that, until I see you in the next video, keep leading worship well.